I think classification speeches in general mean a lot to me. Um, you've used the phrase, a group of people can serve, but a group of friends can serve better. And I gave a speech to Rotary. It was a Rotary moment. It was something that was Arlene Monahan, when she was president, she was doing at the weekly club meetings. And I gave a Rotary moment, and I said that I can't belong to this club. I said that I've got to belong to each of you in some little way, and you need to all belong to me. And I think the classification speech is the first step in that process of forming relationships that are so vital to good service work. And the classification speech is, no matter what perception you might have of an individual when they join the club, the classification speech strips that all away, and you get to know who they truly are. And I think that's some of my best memories. One thing that really stands out for me was a classification speech done by former member Darwin Lyons. He spoke on the typical things you'd hear in a classification speech about his career and his life, but one of the things he spoke very poignantly about was a family that neighbored by them at the lake in the summer who was affected by suicide. And it was a very emotional day for the club to hear that, and really reinforced the importance for us being involved in the Rotary Run for Life. And it really just struck home for me as an example of how important the work is that we do to the individual members in the club for their own reasons. And I've had similar experiences since then, but that really stands out as one of the first for me to know that the Rotarians in the room care deeply about what we're doing. I served on the Rotary Run for Life committee for a couple of years, dealing with website duties, and got to experience the runs, organizing committee operations for that time. I've also been a volunteer on race day, cooking breakfast, filling runner bags, a number of other things. There's most jobs. I've been a participant too, so I've been on both sides of that event, and it's a great one. Another fond memory I have of Rotary would be the curling bonspiels. I curled as a teenager in junior high school and hadn't picked it up again until we were having a Thanksgiving party at Lyle Houston's house, and Des was asking for curlers. He was short one man or one person for league curling, and I said sure, and the rest is history. I've now curled league with Des for 3 seasons, and that's the first year I went to the bonspiel as well. Actually, yeah, the first year I went to the bonspiel, and curling with a slightly different rink there, but still Rotarians, and yeah, that's been quite an adventure. Winning the bonspiel at the district level, and then going on to the World Championships and winning there against all odds. Has been a phenomenal ride for me. To think that I joined Rotary to do service work, and I end up becoming a champion, a sports champion, out of the deal. That's a pretty good memory. I joined Rotary when Krista was pregnant with our first child, Alexa. I joined in January of 2006, and Alexa was born at the beginning of March. So it was not lost on me the fact that though belonging to Rotary was going to take time away from my family potentially, it was going to also be an investment I was making in the community in which I was raising my child. And I've always seen my involvement in Rotary as that important facet to my life. I have my family, I have my business, and I have my community, and it's through Rotary that I'm giving to my community. And what sense is there having a business or a family if they're not nurtured by a healthy community and a healthy world? And so family and Rotary to me is a key matchup. I want my girls to know what work Rotary does for the world. Alexa's raising money for polio right now. She gets it, and what better opportunity can you have for your family and for your children than to show them the meaning of service? It's not something that I've ever felt I should hide from my family, from my kids, and from Krista. It's something that I know if they're involved in, they'll believe it. I'm consider it, one of my great fortunes that I was born Canadian. Um, as much as we might struggle in our daily lives, we have it really easily. Our lives are easy compared to those of others in the world. And one of the things that became apparent right away traveling as a Rotarian is when you meet other Rotarians internationally, you're not strangers, you're family. Being a Rotarian strips away that barrier that people normally put up between themselves and strangers. You're not strangers. So there's an obvious leg up trying to do international service work when you have 30,000 other clubs throughout the world of these people who consider you close friends. And for example, the work that we're able to do with the Children of Ecuador Foundation in Ecuador is a huge opportunity for the kids down there, but also for the kids from Spruce Grove that are traveling. And I just think that there's no better vehicle to do this sort of work to improve our world. And what happens around the world affects us here at home. I think it's evident that we are a global village, and so improving what's outside our front door is one thing, but improving what's halfway around the world means just as much in different contexts. One of the things that I did in my presidential year was instituted the club service teams for the first time. It wasn't my idea. Presidents before me had tossed around the notion of splitting the club into teams and assigning those teams months and emphasizing their role in planning the weekly meetings and planning social activities, but I went on a limb and did it. And I think that has paid off. That year we did do more social events. We did have higher attendance because of that. We did have more engagement in the weekly meetings. And, we had great club service directors before that who brought in engaging speakers, but it was a lot of work for them week in, week out. And I think that by involving more members in the weekly meetings, we strengthen the club's operations. That'd be one thing. I kind of saw my year as a cleanup year. We had a lot of projects that were, the books were still open on them. We had the trail money. We had Playscape that was just wrapping up. We had the matter of whether we were going to be involved in youth exchange or not. And so I felt there was a lot of business on the table that I needed to wrap up. And so we did. And it didn't always go the direction I wanted it to go, but it was important to get it dealt with. I see pretty much every opportunity in Rotary as a an opportunity for advancement of my own self in some way, personally, professionally, some way. You know, teaching me skills that I'm going to use, and to represent the club at various events, the international convention, the district conference, president's meetings. I felt really proud to be given that role and that responsibility. Our club does a lot of good work, and to travel throughout the district, especially in here, oh, you guys are amazing fundraisers, or oh, you guys, and that playscape you built is tremendous. To host people from around the world if they're coming in on group study exchange, things like that in that year. Just performing those presidential duties and realizing what the club meant to the community and to the world was a highlight for me. Well, I had discussions with Lynn Morose, who was of the Stony Plain Club, and she really wanted to take the bull by the horns and see a new club created in the area, and I was of the same opinion. She certainly had more energy invested in it than I was able to at the time, but I believe strongly that there needed to be another opportunity for service. I recognized through my year as membership chair and as president that one of the key issues to increasing our membership was being a noon club in a bedroom community of a major city. That plenty of people lived in Spruce Grove and would choose to do service work in Spruce Grove, but they couldn't make a meeting in the middle of the day because they were working in Edmonton. And so I saw the creation of an evening club as a very important addition to the opportunities for Rotary service in the tri-municipal region. And that's certainly one of the highlights of my year as president, was working with the Stony Plain Club to get that club started. And I really enjoyed being a part of the process to charter that. After my year as president, I did begin to serve at the district level as the webmaster, and did that for a year. It's a whole different world moving beyond the club and serving Rotary at the district level. The people who are there are very committed to furthering Rotary's mission in the world, and it was exciting to get to work with gentlemen like Ross Tyson and Harry Buttle, and you know, just on seeing how other Rotarians from other clubs and other circumstances and other social circles are still committed to the same ideals of service above self as you. We have a strong district in Rotary, and it's always seeking to improve itself. And I think what's true of the leaders of late, anyways, in the district, is that they recognize that their role is to exist to serve clubs, as opposed to the other way around. They're not looking to necessarily set the agenda, they're looking to make clubs be the best that they can be. I'm probably not typical of my generation, in that I've been in business for myself since I was 15 years old, and so by the time I was 28, I was already fairly well established. So I had some advantages that maybe other 28-year-olds didn't, in terms of flexibility in my schedule, and the ability to take on the role of presidency. Perspective-wise, I think that I made it my mission before I became president, and it carried on throughout my presidential year, to meet with all the past presidents. And I wanted to have a discussion with them about what they felt was important to the club. And I always had a little blurb in that conversation about the fact that asking them what they felt was important about the club didn't mean that I was necessarily going to adhere to the traditions of the club, but that I felt it was important to know where we had been, to know where we should go. And that the good things that this club should be maintained or promoted, and the things that aren't working should be changed. I had no adherence to the status quo, but I wanted to preserve what was important to the club. I'd say to a young prospective Rotarian that don't wait. Um, apply that same logic that I did when I joined Rotary, that in order to have a vibrant family and a vibrant career, you need to have a vibrant community and a vibrant world in which to nurture those things. Rotary is something that if you can give a couple hours a week, you can give. You can be a successful Rotarian. It's not something you should wait for. Don't wait until you're retired. Don't wait until your kids have left home to start making the world a better place. You can make yourself a better person. You can make your world a better place. You can make enhance your career, enhance your family life, enhance your understanding of the world and of other people right now. It doesn't take much to get started, and once you're there, you'll be supported. Rotary is, I think, the best option as far as service clubs go. You hear of the struggles that the Elks, the Kinsmen, the Lions are having. Rotary is not immune to those same forces of demography. The population is changing for sure. But I think as far as a vehicle for service for the next generation, Rotary holds the most promise. Besides North America and Western Europe, Rotary membership is increasing. If you look at the zeal that young Rotarians have in India, in Southeast Asia, in Eastern Europe even, in Africa, there's a growing community worldwide of young professionals and young business people who are all united in the ideal of service above self and of making this world a better place. And by joining that community, by becoming a Rotarian, you're tapping into something that's very powerful. We've heard it from Rotary presidents, we've heard it from leaders of nations, that Rotary has the ability to do what no other organization in the world can do. And why wouldn't you want to be a part of that?